Renata, good to see you again today. And thank you for taking part in our Women in Leadership video series. You have this incredible career that started back in the 90s. If I may, AstraZeneca as a CFO, ING and Nationale Nederlanden as a CEO, and currently as a Chief People Officer at Home Credit. When we met last time, you mentioned the book you wrote, Amazing Women from the Heart of Europe. You said your daughter inspired you. Can you tell us more about it, please?
Yeah, definitely. So I have two daughters, 12 and 16 years old, and actually the whole family loves reading. And once we were reading the book about inspirational women from all global, and after finishing the book, the younger daughter Eliška, she just mentioned with big disappointment that she's unhappy that there is no single Czech women in the book mentioned. And I got the idea that it would be actually wonderful, because I'm a big supporter of diversity and inclusion, to write a book for children about inspirational Czech women.
What does it mean to you to have a commitment to diversity?
I think that this topic really came to me in a natural way. A few years ago, when I was very only female leader in the top positions in the companies where I worked, I saw that some of my other female colleagues struggled in their careers. And because I got so much support from my peers, from my bosses, from my family, and I strongly believe that due to that I succeeded in my career, I created this commitment that I want to also not only receive the support from my community, but I want to give back. And this was my start of the journey, being very committed to creating inclusive environments and also to share my experience around diversity and inclusion.
What are the main challenges you are facing now as Chief People Officer at Home Credit International? The company is doing business in 10 countries in Asia. Can you tell me the differences and diversity issues in business in Asia versus Europe?
So maybe I will start a little bit on the general note, because I think every Chief People Officer is facing the same similar issues in these days. We are all living and doing business in a very fast environment which is constantly changing, which cannot be foreseen, which cannot be planned like it was common in the past. So we are dealing with constant requirements to change, to deal with uncertainties and actually many vulnerabilities around ourselves. For everyone who is in the leadership position, it really requires to search for the new ways of working, for bringing the talents to the companies which will be able to deal with this constant change and uncertainty. So that's something which I think is amazing on one side, and on the other side very demanding. Talking specifically about Asia, for me it is unbelievable inspirational challenge, because you are visiting different markets, different cultures, different mentalities, and you have to deal with completely different setup. In Asia, you see, big scales, big opportunities. Technology is really advancing extremely fast. And you also have to deal with generational diversity, because the markets, the population is extremely young. So what actually we talk in Europe, we have millennials and Generation Z coming to the workforce.
Renata, this evening you will be awarded Stanton Chase Chairman's Diversity Award. How you feel being woman in business and how it has influenced your career?
So firstly, actually, let me to tell you that I am very honored to receive this beautiful award. And I really believe that it's amazing initiative which your company is doing. I think you are contributing to building awareness in this very important area. So of course, big thank you for this, appreciation. Yeah, to be a female leader in the business, I actually do not know often how to answer this question. But I think you mean with that question, was it difficult for me? Was it easy? Did I face any complications, any barriers on my journey? And yes, I did. And I think it actually connects with every person, not only to women, but I think every person is struggling, sometimes on the career to undergo. There were several moments, not many, where I really felt that I am a kind of, disadvantaged for some career movements being the female leader, but I always question myself, is it the environment which is creating these barriers, or is it also partly my mindset, which is creating that? And I think it's a lot combination. And I always say to women who ask me about some tips which I would give them, I would actually answer in the direction. I would say that, firstly we need to work, with our own mindset to create good self-confidence and good self-awareness. What is it that we want in our life? What is it what we want to achieve? And then just to follow that. And I think that's the best advice which I got and which I have give, because we have many people around ourselves which can give us good tips, good recommendations, but they are also creating via their own biases quite some judgments and limitations, and the best is to follow ourselves. If we know what we want, then let's do that.
What do you think can or should be done to help women to become more successful?
I think it's a very complex question, because there is not one single solution for that. And many companies have beautiful programs which focuses on supporting women, to grow to the top positions. I strongly believe that actually the basis is in behaviors which relates to the respect, where companies create environment where people respect each other, where they can understand that people are different, that people do not judge themselves based on their own values, their own thoughts, experience, and that people will be able to listen to each other and support each other.
What advice would you give to other women who wish to become successful?
It is actually connected with what I already mentioned in the previous question, and I think that's believing in themselves. So if I know what I want, I should follow it, even it might be very difficult and complicated. And I think the most important barrier is really in the mind of every single woman. So my advice would be, don't look too much to what others say about you or what others might think about yourself, but just do what you feel makes you the most happy, because that's your own way. And maybe the second advice which I would give is that women try to be very often perfect. So they love to be perfect in their job, they love to be perfect at home, they love to be perfect mothers, wives, daughters, friends. And I think we cannot have it always all. So to be more a kind of, kind to ourselves, that things do not have to be always perfect. That is actually the best advice which I have received in the past.
You have clearly moved up the ladder to the top ranks. What other goals do you still seek to achieve?
Maybe I will disappoint many people now with my answer, but I don't live my life to have some concrete goals. I live my life that I want to feel that it's a happy life, where actually I do what I love, where I feel that I can fully use my impact and experience. So that's what actually makes my clock ticking, to say.
And finally, what is the legacy you would like to leave in your current role?
So it's a very good question, because I am still in the beginning of my journey. I have joined the company 5 months ago, so I'm meeting everyone, observing and adapting to the new role and to the new company. Being responsible for the people function, it really includes to contribute to create environment where people feel connected with the purpose, with the direction of the company, and that we will enable people to flourish in the roles where they feel the strongest, where they can utilize all the experiences which they have, and that they will feel that they enjoy every day coming to the work.
Thank you, Renata, for joining us today and participating in our Women in Leadership video series. It was really interesting to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. It was very inspirational, and all the best.